Dr. Jonathan Javitt is CEO and founder of NRx Pharmaceuticals, and Anne Dunsmore is the founder and president of Angel Force USA. And together, they are working to help prevent veteran suicide. So, Dr. Javitt, let's start with you. I mean, what is the mission and goal of Hope Therapeutics?
Well, recently, uh, Anne invited us to attend a meeting at the U.S. Army Museum at Fort Belvoir. We sat with representatives of Secretary Collins, the Secretary of the VA, Secretary Hegseth, Secretary of the Department of War, and unanimously we heard that preventing veteran suicide is mission number one. And we're here to support that mission. We're here to support that mission with what we call neuroplastic therapies, therapies that cause the brain to form new cells, new connections, new pathways. And in the last several years, science has caught up with that. Just last August, just 2 months ago, we saw a publication from thousands of veterans where ketamine was successful in reversing severe PTSD. We're seeing increasing evidence that transcranial magnetic stimulation, an FDA-approved treatment, is successful in reversing these severe and suicidal diseases that kill 22 veterans in active duty every day. And Hope Therapeutics is all about bringing those therapies to the people who need them.
Yeah. And Anne, how do you see Hope Therapeutics different from other pharmaceuticals, specifically big pharma, which has come under scrutiny for unscrupulous marketing, questionable marketing, at least? How do you see Hope different?
At first, Angel Force USA was firmly resolved not to take pharmaceutical money, alcohol money, things like that that contribute to suicidal ideation. And Thomas, who works with Dr. Javits, really worked. It just didn't take long, but he said, "We're here to upend that. This is military run for military, and we have solutions that are not just, uh, y- y- you know, drugs, but in combination with other therapies." And we talked about it. And I said, if you're in to upend the tide of overprescription and overprescribing, that's also killing our veterans and our also just general population. I'm all in. Let's spread the word, and let's get this taken care of. Our chief goal is to find a pathway to zero. And by the way, there are other studies that show that the number could be as high as 45 veterans in active duty a day that die by suicide. So it's a serious, and it is a confirmed contagion. It does affect those closest to a suicide victim or somebody who's ideating. So
Yeah.
we're all in,
Yeah.
and we're not moving slowly.
And when you talk about overprescribing,
Yes, sir.
you're talking about a generation of drugs that's been around for the better part of 50 years. Uh, in one way or another, they affect the serotonin pathway of the brain. Every one of those drugs has a black box warning on it saying that these drugs may increase suicidal ideation. So to try one or two legacy drugs, well, maybe that makes sense. To try three, four, five, six legacy drugs before you allow a troop, before you allow an active duty, before you allow a veteran to have neuroplastic therapy that is shown to decrease suicidality, I think we're united that that's a practice that needs to end.
100%. You could have heard a pin drop at the summit that we did in September during Suicide Awareness Month when the slide came up that Dr. Javits had. And how many is it? 125 or 128 prescriptions, drugs, approved drugs are on the market today. All of the drugs for depression carry a black box warning that absolutely states that it can cause suicide. That to me is reprehensible. We have to get away from that. We have to figure out how that can't be a solution that actually creates a problem. And everybody walked out of there just from that one slide, let alone some of the other things that were, here are some other solutions. We don't own, Hope Therapeutics isn't profiting off of all of these solutions, some, but not all, that they took the care and time to present the whole picture of hope. And that's what we need. You have to at least show that there is hope and that we're not stuck in having to accept something that's unacceptable.
Yeah. And Dr. Javis, how do you see hope fitting in with the mission to stop succulence and the path to zero?
Well, the challenge that most pharmaceuticals companies have, and NRx is certainly a pharmaceutical company, is that they're very able to talk about the treatments that they're advancing through the FDA, the treatments that they get approval for, but they're less effective in being able to combine state of the art drugs with state of the art treatments, both medical devices and others. And we set up Hope Therapeutics specifically to be able to do that, specifically to be able to integrate treatments, whether they're our treatments or other people's treatments, for the benefit of the patient. So yes, these neuroplastic drugs, ketamine is an example, cycloserine is an example. There are other examples coming through the pipeline. They're critically important. But so is transcranial magnetic stimulation. That's a procedure where, and there are now more than 6 FDA approved versions of this device, where you take the same magnets that you have in an MRI machine, apply them outside the head, focused on different parts of the brain, in order to create neuroplasticity, in order to create new pathways in the brain. We're looking at digital therapeutics, apps that will literally live on your phone that are not only able to assess how depressed you might be, and whether suicidality is a risk for you, but actually able to help improve your underlying state. And nobody's ever set up an integrated home for all of those treatments before. That's what we're trying to do within Hope Therapeutics.
And I want to talk to you both about the Las Vegas event. So let's start with you, Anne. I mean, you've got the Suicide Summit in Las Vegas in December.
Yeah, and before we say the word Las Vegas too many times, this is not happening in a casino. Las Vegas happens to be the home of some of our most precious military facilities as well.
Yeah.
There's
Quite
a
a
big
few.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a few. It's one of the largest populations, concentrated populations of veterans in active duty and military installations. So, and also within a 2-hour radius of that, you've got some other ones in California, and I mean, it's really quite centric. So.
Yeah. And what is the overall message, would you say, Anne, that you would like to convey during that event?
Well, one suicide changes 135 lives. That's a fact, and that's in the general population. It's going to be a much bigger ratio in the military. And if that's the case, then you also have to believe that one person can save 135 lives. And what we're looking at here is just by letting people know. And I think the most important thing, or not, one of the many very important things that Dr. Javitt brings to light, is the fact that there hasn't been a home. I've seen these therapeutics in the marketplace and in development for 15, 20 years. Wearables have been around. The problem is you have solutions, you have a problem, but you have to be able to bring it to the people who need them. And what he's doing, and there are other people that are doing the same thing, and it's going to catch on, and that's what we needed to do. But the most important thing is to make sure people understand the gravity of the situation, that it's okay to talk about it if you're having issues. You need to talk about it. And you also, as a buddy, you need to be able to identify the issues. And then thirdly, that there are solutions and that there are brilliant people who are not going to compound the problem, recognize the fact that is a problem as well. And that's what we see in Hope Therapeutics. So we want people to, thousands of service members are going to leave that event. They will have been brought in by, we have Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys. They will have been brought in and attracted to coming to the location, and they're going to hear this message succinctly, quickly, and in a way that they can remember and repeat and utilize in their day-to-day regimen, as well as the caregivers. A lot of the caregivers don't even know this information, and they love hearing it. So that's what we hope. We plan on doing this all across the country, and there's no playbook because nobody's done it before. So that's it. Entertain, engage, educate. Make sure that they remember the signs and the solutions, and that there's hope.
Yeah, and Dr. Javitt, let's finish with you. What would you like to convey for the summit?
Well, as some people know, I'm an aviator in the Coast Guard Auxiliary when I'm not CEO of a biotech company. And the Coast Guard is just like the other branches of the military in that suicide has been a huge challenge. And every officer in the auxiliary, uh, every person in the auxiliary, and every person in the active duty Coast Guard has now had about 20 hours of training in stress resilience and suicide prevention because this is such a critical issue. So really the message is not only are we focusing on suicide prevention as a force, but now there are active treatments that can restore somebody to full function in very short order without disrupting their lives.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Javitt and Anne, for bringing this information. Thank you for joining me today. It's such important work and wonderful to know that there are alternatives that maybe people don't always know about. So, thank you again, and best of luck with the summit.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For having
Thank you.